In a minute, give us a good political commercial about why you should be elected.
Well, first let me say, Eugene, thanks for the opportunity to come before you and the people of North Dakota tonight. My name is Dwayne Sand. I live in Bismarck with my wife Holly and two kids, Alan and Hannah. I grew up primarily in Fargo and then in small towns up and down the Red River Valley. Lisbon, Pembina, a small town in Minnesota called Lancaster. I went to the University of North Dakota for a year to play football, which I didn't do, and then out to the Naval Academy where I graduated and then earned a master's degree in industrial engineering, University of Central Florida, and spent the last 26 years wearing the uniform of a naval officer. For the last 10 years, other than 2 recalls to active duty for the war in Iraq and a submarine duty in Washington State, I've led the Americans for Prosperity, a taxpayer-focused group to save taxpayers' money, make them more aware of where their money is going, and try to get government to operate more efficiently. We've helped to start the North Dakota Taxpayer Association, which is doing a great job statewide at making people aware of those same things, and also I co-founded with several other people here tonight the North Dakota Tea Party Caucus. Got a minute?
Okay, that sounds good. Well, let me just start by asking you, what is the most critical issue facing the United States right now?
Well, there are several critical issues, but I think that the most critical issue, and one of the biggest reasons I'm running for the U.S. Senate, for my children, for my eventual grandchildren, for everyone listening today, their children and grandchildren, is the debt. Right now, America has roughly $15.5 trillion in federal debt. Next week, it's going to be authorized to go to roughly $16.8 trillion because of what was passed in August by this Congress, the Budget Control Act of 2011, and I didn't support that. My opponent in the House did support that. It's one of the biggest reasons I stayed in this race. We need strong leadership to go to Washington to make some serious cuts in federal government spending, and also to go to Washington with new ideas to grow our economy. And I actually feel very good about my ability to do that. I'm the only candidate running who has a comprehensive national energy plan and a plan to save Social Security and Medicare.
All right, let's talk a little bit about that. What are your plans to save Social Security and Medicare?
Well, for Social Security, we've got to do something soon and something pretty significant. Nibbling at the edges is just not going to do the job. So what I'm proposing next week to the citizens, to the voters of North Dakota, is to eliminate the contribution cap of $106,000 and also to raise the retirement age. Eventually, what we're basically saying is, if we're going to save Social Security, we're going to have to make sure that people receiving the benefits are means tested to make sure that those receiving them need them. And then we're going to have to increase the retirement age, and we're going to have more paid into Social Security, because in the long run right now, we don't have enough to pay for the benefits. And this is the best plan that I've heard of around the country and adopted, taking the best parts, and I think it's the right thing to do, and it needs to be done. And I'm going to introduce it if it's not already introduced when I get there, and I'm going to support it. That's
Social Security. What about Medicare?
For Medicare, I think that the best thing we need to do, and what the people of North Dakota are telling me, is that's something certainly we need to means test. We we've got the federal government. In Social Security, they're bankrupting it. In Medicare, they're bankrupting it. They're involved in the Postal Service. We know where that's going. They're involved in the train service. We know where that is going. What we need to do is, to create solvency in those programs, is to radically modify them. So means testing, so that the wealthy who can afford medical care may have to pay more for their own medical care so that we can support the lower and middle class. We simply don't have a choice. That's the problem. It's an entitlement that people paid into that they could get a benefit out of. But we have for so long abused the program in the federal government that the only way to save it is to simply means test it.
You had talked earlier about the 16